Hey guys, this is Cody Cove here. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to give you my Houston Texans team grade, grading the offense, grading the defense, grading the special teams, my position group from quarterback to offensive line, from defensive line to the secondary, from kicker and punter all the way down to long snapper and kick returner. I'm going to grade this team. But before this video does get started, I really appreciate if you hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and check out my NFL podcast called the NFL News Podcast. Link below in the description. And if you want your team to be next in this series, please just comment down below your team, and I would make that happen. Without further ado, let's get into this video. Starting off with, obviously, this grading system. 140 to 155 is the A+ range, and 0 to 89.9 is this F range. Just a spoiler, the Texans actually aren't an F. But I was really generous, and this is really based off of how this is basically how the best they could really be, especially on offense. There. And let's start off with this offense. I give Tyler Taylor 6.1 out of 8. He's fine. I think he's one of the most unluckiest players in the league. He won that game against the Bengals last year, and then he got hurt. He got his lung punctured, which is really unfortunate. I feel like he would have had the same amount of success as Justin Herbert did, because he's a much better time manager than Justin Herbert at this point in his career. Then at running backs, this is a little bit different here. I had 3 running back system. I don't think they're gonna do this in real life, but if they do, I think this is a recipe to success. If they want any success in the first place, their score is definitely gonna be lower if they do not do a 3 running back system. Like they sort of seem to have set in place here with Philip Lindsay, David Johnson, and Mark Ingram. Now, if we give Philip Lindsay a 7.9 out of 10, he's a more back of the line backup starter in this league at running back, but he's not a bad player. I wouldn't be upset if he's my starter in this league. So, yeah. Then at RB2, David Johnson gave him a 6.1 out of 8. He's a fine backup. He's definitely not what he used to be. He did it like 850 yards last year and 7 touchdowns. So he wasn't terrible, but he was by no means good. And I know it doesn't have the best O-line, but still he wasn't very good at all. And at RB3, Mark Ingram, who got benched, or not benched, but he got a starting job taken by J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins isn't my favorite player. I think he's overrated. He's not better than Jonathan Taylor. He's not better than Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Especially in the receiving game. Jonathan Taylor's a way better runner. James Robinson's better than J.K. Dobbins. There's no way, in my opinion, that J.K. Dobbins is the best running back or even the top 2 running back. You could argue he's the 3rd running back in this class, but I don't think he is, in my opinion here. Then at receivers, they give Brandon Cooks an 8 out of 10. He's a consistent player. You know, he gets you about 1,000 yards every year, which is, I believe, what he got this year. And 68 touchdowns. So he's a solid player at best. He's a back of the end starter in the league, like I said for Philip Lindsay. Then at receiver 2, we have the horrible Randall Cobb. He used to be good, but he's not. He's like 35. I mean, probably like 32. I don't care. He's not good. He just last year the Texans, he had like 400 yards on the Texans. It's the Texans. I don't know what more I have to say. He's bad. He can only get 40 yards on the Texans with Deshaun Watson leading the league in passing yards. So I don't know what to say. Yeah. Then at tight end, you have Jordan Atkins, who is terrible. He was a backup to Darren Fells, which will really explain it all to you. Darren Fells isn't a good player. He is not a starting tight end in this league, and neither is Jordan Atkins. And then this offensive line is terrible too. Gave him 9.2 out of 15. Larry Tuttle is just about it going for them. Justin Britt is not good. To anyone think Justin Britt is good, I'm a Seahawks fan. I have watched him play. He used to be a starter. He is terrible. I mean, I guess he's just about as good as Ethan Posick, who is the Seahawks starting center right now. So that's really all you need to know. He's terrible. So 50.6 offense out of 70. That's the worst offense yet, definitely. I don't think you're ready for the defense, Texans fans. Yeah. Defensive end, you have Vincent Taylor and Charles Omenihu. This is terrible. They each combined for about 5 total sacks. Vincent Taylor wasn't playing very much last year, but Charles Omenihu played a decent bit. Nose tackle with Collins last year had like 20 tackles in 14 games. Like, that's terrible. The linebacker core is the only thing that sort of can go decent for them. Christian Kirksey ain't great, but Zach Cunningham, in my opinion, is a really good linebacker. Christian Kirksey definitely put this down a little bit for the middle linebacker spot. Then at some linebacker, Jacob Martin sort of let this part down a lot. Whitley Merciless is a pretty decent linebacker, in my opinion. So I think this is good for weak side linebacker for the Texans. Well, they have a middle linebacker and a weak side linebacker. That's just about it. Then at CB1, you have Bradley Roby, who is probably not even he's a meh quarterback too. Anytime he goes against a true number 1 receiver, he gets destroyed, as you could have saw last year. He was horrible last year. He only had like 3 interceptions and let up like 10 to 12 touchdowns. So yeah, he's terrible. And same with Terrence Mitchell. Yeah, he was a third corner last year, and he let up like 780 yards and 5 touchdowns. He's terrible. I don't care what any of you guys say. He is terrible, and he was terrible in limited play. And he's not a cornerback 2 in this league. Shouldn't be anywhere except for the Texans, I guess. Then at safety 1, you have Justin Reed. He's a fine safety 1. Nothing special. Yes, he's a starting level safety. Something you really don't see on the Texans roster right now. So yeah, I guess that's good for them. Then Eric Murray, who is not a starting level safety whatsoever. Like some of these guys on this defense probably wouldn't start on the 0-14 Buccaneers. This is how bad this defense is. It's a 46.6 rating out of 70, which is terrible, by the way. That's the worst it's gonna be total. I don't see how any team's gonna do any worse. The Jaguars are the only team I can think of that have a possible chance. And they have good pieces. They have CJ Henderson. They have Shaquille Griffin at corner, which is already way better than them. The Texans are terrible. That's all I really need to say. Special teams. It doesn't really get much better. Cameron Johnson is your really only decent special teamer. John Weeks is a fine long snapper. And I gave him a 1.7 out of 2. That's what I gave literally every long snapper up to this point. Because you're not too familiar with them. Andre Roberts isn't a very good returnman. Neither is Kiki Kuti. Tyree Fairburn, don't even get me started. He was like 8 kicks last year. He's terrible. He missed like 10 to 12 extra points. He's a horrible kicker, and that's why this special teams got a 10.3. Really, because of Kiwi Fairbairn in this return game. Cameron Johnson isn't that bad. And then total team, 50.6 offense, 46.6 defense, 10.3 special teams. All worse in the league up to this point. Yes, I've only done like 5 or 6 teams, but it's terrible. It's not even close. Like, I don't know what to say. I've done pretty much all decent teams up at this point at least. But 107.5, giving them a C. It's terrible. That was generous. You go back to this offense here. If you have a pass heavy, Tyrod's maybe a 7. And then Jordan Atkins is obviously gonna have more value here. There's gonna be another receiver who's Chris Conley, who is terrible. Randall Cobb's already terrible, so that's not gonna help. Brandon Cooks will probably stay the same though, which is good. Philip Lindsay will probably have the same rating. But David Johnson's score is going to go down, and Mark Ingram's not even going to be on here. But that Chris Conley would have less points than him anyway. The O-line's still terrible. It's probably going to be closer to a 45 if I didn't go run-heavy system here. So Texas fans, be happy. I could have really screwed you and said, yeah, pass heavy, blah, 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 whatever. So 107.5, grade of a C, is terrible. Let's go here back to the grading system. It's fine, I guess. To see the Texans are quite possibly a C minus, under 100 if I do not give them a better offense. I feel like I was fair the defensive special teams. So I feel like they're close. They're close if they don't go run heavy to the C minus range, which is terrible. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. It'd be very much appreciated. Road to 100 subscribers. We're 26 away. We're at 74 at the time of this recording. Let's get to 100 before the season starts. That's what we want. We really appreciate it if we can do that. Subscribe to my podcast, the NFL Nerds Podcast. That also be very well appreciated. And comment down below what team you want next. And that will happen. I got the Rams one. I got Rams and Patriots still got to be done. But after those 2 videos, you will see your video if you do recommend it. Unless another comment gets more likes. So make sure to like your comment if you want that to happen. They'll give you a better chance. And yeah, thanks for watching the video. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.